Okay, YouTube says that I'm live, and I have no idea if anybody will join this. But the reason I'm doing this live stream is because I keep making videos and then failing to upload them because I don't have time to edit. I just don't. I've had to realize that about myself. Am I frozen? My image looks frozen. And I am I'm on a computer. I can't stream from mobile yet until I get more subscribers. So anyway, whatever. So this camera is on a computer that is a few years old, but it's a good computer. So we'll see. Um, in any case, so here we are. Uh, I am really trying to sort out um, uh, some lies that I tell myself that have undermined me. And I had to spend a lot of time shoving all that to the side the past couple of decades to some degree because I was raising children, two boys, and they are 22 and 19. And I really put everything into um, making sure that they were going to exit this nest as a benefit to society. I put everything into that, and I did try to put myself first so that I could stay a healthy mom, and that was a really inconsistent outcome there. But in any case, they seem to be doing very well. They still need me as their mother, um, but I do have a little more space in my day uh, to slow down my internal monologue. And I've just realized that um, one bizarre thing that I tell myself is that every time I go out and run an errand, and I've noticed a lot of people are this way. Is this if I go out, I need a treat. I think it's because I don't know why. When we were little, my grandma would uh, we lived with my grandparents for from the time I was about 10 to the time I was about 13. And my grandma would take care of us while my mom was at work. And in the summer or after school, she would like, we're in the car, let's go to get a treat. Let's go to Brahms. Now, my grandma was about 98 pounds soaking wet, although she had a sweet tooth and she died of colon cancer in her early 70s. And so even though she was never over, she would get mad if she got up to 115 pounds. And I'm like, if I weighed 115 pounds, I'd need to go check that out and wonder why. So in any case, but I mean, ice cream and popsicles and stuff like that was a fun and comfort. And I know that when I raised my sons, I didn't want them to have the same food associations. We had fun. We would have movie nights where I would make brownies or popcorn or whatever. When they were little, we'd watch Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or The Three Amigos or stuff like that, with the boys. Or when they were real little, it'd be Winnie the Pooh and all those fun things. But I didn't want them to associate food as something that can make their emotions feel better or be a regular part of regulating their emotional life. Now, that made it more difficult for me as a mother because it meant that if they were sad, even if I would say, you want to go get a treat at Starbucks or something, they didn't, because and so that that meant I really needed to put in the work emotionally, spiritually as their mother, to support them in a real way and not solve things with a muffin. And so as a mom, I mean, now it's great because they're metabolically healthy, athletic. They are, I mean, they're young men and they're still learning things, and they're still works in progress, as clearly I am too. We'll all be works in progress our whole lives. But they have their head straight on their shoulders, and I'm very proud of them. So, so one thing that's good is that they eat with a purpose. I mean, they enjoy stuff. They will have treats and even last night, my 19-year-old wanted some ice cream, but we don't have any in the house, so we didn't get any ice cream. Uh, he was home for a few minutes from school. In any case, so uh, they've learned that food, it serves a purpose in their life that is physiological, and that there's times for feasting, times for fasting, and that food serves a purpose and is we're to control what we eat, not vice versa. So I'm very, very happy about that. And because I have that next to me as their mother and I observe it, it shines a spotlight on the ways I'm still inclined to use food. I mean, I will reward myself when it's just Tuesday. And I've, I mean, I'm not a terrible person, but truly my day to day experience is not so mind blowingly awesome that I should go get chocolate cake every day, right? But there's this, I don't know, wanting of a reward that is food, a treat that is food. I worked hard grocery shopping, so I'm going to stop and get a cupcake. Now, I don't do actually follow up on that regularly, right? I lost 2 summers ago, about 18 months ago. I lost a lot of weight. I had lost a lot of weight previously, um, and then I needed a hysterectomy, and then we had a tornado destroy our business, and then the pandemic hit, and I gained a lot of weight back in the course of that short span of time. And so 18 months ago, I lost probably, I'm embarrassed to say, probably 50 pounds or something like that. I mean, I'm short. I can't believe I had packed on that amount of weight. It's embarrassing, but I might as well be straightforward about it. I just excused myself when everybody was home and stuck in the house for the pandemic. I was like, well, I'm going to make sour bread. I'm going to do like pandemic baking. And then I realized very fast that um, my wellness, our family's wellness, depended on being healthy. Uh, I gain weight rapidly. I just do. It's a gift. It's a gift I have. Need 20 pounds fast in a month? I'm your woman. I can do it. I can do that. So easy. My yoga teacher husband, metabolically healthy, can eat whatever. He might not feel good if he doesn't eat healthy, but he never puts on weight. My sons don't put on weight except when they're working on their gains and getting swole. Is that all the language? I gained fat real fast. So I did. Uh, and then the pandemic was still going on like a year later, and that's when I got serious. Now, I did a very controversial diet to lose that. Well, I lost 10 pounds on my own, and then I lost 40 pounds over the summer of 2021. And it was through a very controversial diet. I did it in a carnivore way, but it was not the carnivore diet. I did it with HCG. I did it with homeopathic HCG. And I mean, everybody comes at homeopathy and everybody comes at HCG, and the regular HCG people come after the homeopathic HCG people, and it's just ridiculous. I am not here to promote HCG or homeopathy to any of you. I have your opinion. I don't care. I had to do what worked for me, and going keto and going carnivore does help me maintain weight loss and does help me feel good. I can't lose a big amount of weight if I've gained weight on those. I can't. It just doesn't happen, even if I give it a long time. Like I gave it a year before I dove into HCG, and I did HCG back in 2016, lost a lot of weight that way then. And then, gained it back as I previously described. So, I was successful on HCG. They have a meal plan for you. And the meal plans vary depending on who your provider is. But what I decided to do was just eat steak. I did HCG meal plan via carnivore, and I ate sirloin steak every day for 110 days. I was never hungry, and I was getting healthy. I was feeling good. A lot of my inflammation going away. I lost 40 pounds. I kept that plus the previous 10 pounds off for um, many, 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 many months. And then my sister, my younger sister, got very sick. And so I had to, um, I did pretty good at not eating emotionally, except a couple of times. And I texted a friend from like the grocery store parking lot and, saying I just ate such and such and it's not going to make my sister better, but I did it anyway. I wasn't expecting to go there here. Anyway, so Christmas Eve 2021, my sister got diagnosed with cancer, and she was pretty healthy, lived her best attempt at living a healthy lifestyle. She was active. She exercised regularly. She got outside. She lived in the Pacific Northwest. Um, she was a vegetarian. She and I didn't talk too much about nutrition or anything like that. I do not think that vegetarianism is the way to go, but she was a strong-willed individual, and it would just all hell would break loose if I really tried to talk to her about all of this. So anyway, she was vegetarian. After she got diagnosed, she realized pretty quickly that she needed to start getting some animal protein in her to heal her and sustain her and nourish her. But it was just too late. And in any case, so through most of her diagnosis and treatment, I live several states away. Um, but I would talk to her on the phone and text and that kind of thing. And I was doing okay for myself. And then in June of 2022, her birthday was June 1st, and I flew up there to help my parents care for her because caring for her was becoming very challenging for them, and they just needed some help. And so I flew up there, and in June of 2022, I flew back and forth many times and into July, but mostly June, helping my parents care for my sister, but I still had stuff to do here in Dallas. My husband and I run a business. I run another business on my own on the side. I flew back and forth. And then on June 30th, we said goodbye to her, and she was 50. She had turned 50 on June 1st. And I really I just can't believe it still. And I gained a good amount of weight in that month because I ate a lot of nuts and dairy. I was trying to stay at least keto. The only time I ate sugar in all of that time was at her memorial service in July. And I ate whatever I wanted that day, and I did not hold back. But in any case, nuts are inflammatory to me. Dairy's inflammatory to me. My dad did a great job of cooking healthy meals. I got to really give it to him. He really focused on that. But me adding the nuts and the dairy was so inflammatory. I gained probably 20 pounds just right back in a month. And so that was discouraging. But as I've said before, it's my specialty and it's my gift. So what a talent, right? In any case, I did go back on HCG just because I felt that my health was going to suffer and I needed to quickly get that weight off. Again, I don't advise that for other people. You have to look into those things yourself. So if you come at me in comments attacking HCG or homeopathic HCG, I am really just going to delete the comment because I don't want to deal with that. I had to do what I need to do for myself. So I got that weight back off. And then for some reason I thought, well, I'll just keep eating a little dairy here and there. And I did that. And then so weight slowly crept back on. And so now I'm carrying around maybe 10 or 15 extra pounds. And so I really don't want to go back on HCG right now. It's very mentally intensive. Takes a lot of focus and a lot of energy. So I'm just trying to stick to carnivore. And I did give up all dairy except I do okay with about a tablespoon or 2 of shredded cheese on my scrambled eggs. I am just rambling. In any case, so I seem to do okay with that, but I've got a freezer full of meat right now. I've been cooking meat. My husband's trying to eat more meat. He's been able to tolerate more grains and carbs than ever would be able to. But he's in his 60s and he's worried about, his general inflammation. He wants to keep that low. He's wants his brain health to be optimal and those kinds of things. So he's trying to make adjustments to his diet as well. My sons are all in about the meat and the butter and the eggs. And that's mostly really what they eat as well, as at least that's what they're telling me. So in any case, uh, so I guess what I'm dealing with right now is this constant desire to reward myself with something ridiculous, with a little brownie or I don't know. I'm not going to name all those foods. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm curious if you have like a reward food. I have a trigger. I'm not going to say trigger. That word is, I hate it. It's so overused. It's ridiculous. Trigger, trauma. Come on. When you're a regular person walking around leading a regular life, that those words generally don't apply to you. Let's reserve them for people who've really been through some stuff. In any case, I'm curious if you have a food that you run to. I used to have something that I called muffins of rage. And I talked to my nutritionist about this when I first went to go see her back in 2016. Whenever my husband would make me mad or anybody else would make me mad, the next time I would go run errands, I would stop by Whole Foods and buy a muffin, and it would be organic or whatever. And it would be like a zucchini muffin, as if that made any kind of a difference. But I would sit in my car and eat it because it made me feel better. I guess there's dopamine. I've forgotten all the brain chemicals that go into all of this, but it would make me feel better physically and in my brain on an immediate level, and would give me the idea that nobody could tell me not to eat this. And nobody can control me. And I've got, for this minute in my car, I'm living my own life where I'm sheltered from anybody making me mad or upset or anything. Now, I want to say that I don't want to give the impression that my husband ever talks to me about what I eat. He wants me to be healthy and he loves me, but he has never, ever, ever gotten on to me about anything I'm eating, good or bad, or weight gain or weight loss. He's just really an unbelievably supportive man. And I mean, wow, I'm so thankful. Uh, and he gets proud of me when I meet personal goals and when I establish practices that I'm feeling good about for myself. And he also understands that I have trip ups, and he's just kind to me about that. He's kind. I appreciate that. And I hope that you all have somebody in your life that is kind to you about it, because a lot of this is so shame based. I felt like if I lost weight and all my friends congratulated me, this really happened. I retreated and didn't go out, didn't go see anybody. I was just too ashamed of myself for having gained weight back. And then I would also have friends, if I lost weight, try to sabotage it. I had friends tell me they preferred me overweight. And if aesthetically, okay, I appreciate your honesty, but I mean, do you prefer me being unhealthy? And then people would criticize my healthy eating, but they were not criticizing if I was joining everybody for, nachos and Diet Coke and, or margaritas, those kinds of things. That's all fine and dandy. But if you go on a diet, oh my gosh, that's so unhealthy. And this brings me to this discussion of being moderate. And I see a lot of people smugly say, well, just moderation in all things. And, and even people who've never battled their weight think that they have advice for people who had this as a lifelong battle. And I mean, I've had this battle since I was 12 or 13 years old. And the thing is that we're in this position, people like me, because we can't do the things that you lucky people are able to do. I don't know what the difference is, but I don't have the same system mentally, physically, that you have if you have never had to deal with this. And me sitting down and having a palm-sized piece of chicken breast and a side of brown rice and then a thing of broccoli and then dessert once a week, that makes me hungrier, and that makes me more obsessed with food that doesn't nourish me. People like me have to go all in. I have to go all in, and I'm either going all in with the muffins of rage, or I'm going all in with something that is healthy, that is metabolically healthy, that is nourishing. That's who I am, and that's who a lot of you are. I've noticed from interacting on YouTube and on Facebook and groups and that kind of thing. We got to go all in, and we've got to be completely focused and invested. I can't have dessert once a week and be okay. I can't have brown rice on my plate because my body interprets that as sugar. I can't do that and be okay. A lot of vegetables disturb my digestion. I can't eat those and be okay. I just can't. So that's not what happens in my system. So anyway, if you're watching this and you're a person that's like me, and you have people criticizing you. I don't have too many people criticizing me, but I also don't talk to a lot of people about it. It's really not their business. I do see posts. What do I tell my friend who says blah, blah, blah? Well, I mean, my answer is don't tell your friend anything. It's not your friend's business. I mean, you don't need your friend's approval. You don't need anybody's approval to eat the right way. You don't. Uh, it's just not their business. My whole 110 days on HCG, the diet that everybody hates, I never told a soul. I didn't tell a soul. I didn't go to events that required eating, or if I needed to, I would say that I was on an elimination diet from my nutritionist due to food sensitivity. So I needed to not eat there. I would say that so I didn't appear rude. That happened a couple of times, and everybody was very gracious about that. But I don't, um, I really, but now I feel like more people could benefit from knowing the truth about cholesterol, and can benefit from knowing the truth about meat, and can benefit from knowing the truth about things we've been told are healthy but are actually toxic, and why we've been told they're healthy. If you're watching this and you just don't know about anything, anybody who's watching this, I think already knows. But if you don't know anything I'm talking about, I learned about carnivore from hearing Jordan Peterson say that he only ate meat and that it helped him heal from a number of diseases. And so then I went to YouTube to try to look that up, and I found his daughter Michaela talking about it. And then I thought, well, this is interesting, but I didn't have any of the issues that Michaela Peterson has. I didn't have RA or any autoimmune stuff except a minor thyroid issue. And so I dug further into it. I still thought, I don't know if this is for me. And then I came across a conversation with Michaela Peterson and Dr. Ken Berry. And I watched that, and that really piqued my interest. And so then I went over to Dr. Ken Berry's YouTube channel, and he seemed pretty interesting. And what I liked about him was that he listed studies in the notes, and he talked about the actual studies, and he talked about what the flawed studies were, and he talked about what the real studies are, and he talked about the anthropology of it, which I appreciated. And I thought, wow, I'm going to give this a shot. And then I thought, but I shouldn't just follow one guy, although following the research that he talks about was very compelling. Then I came across Dr. Anthony Chafee, Chafee, and I watched a couple of his videos, and he's a carnivore, and I was like, okay, I'm more convinced. And then Dr. Bart K, he's got a bit of a potty mouth on him. So, uh, and sometimes he spends a lot of his energy just kind of taking down people. But the service that he provides is that he cuts across like acid crap information. And so sometimes I get a little bit weary about Dr. K's approach, but I think he's a good man, and people that I've talked to that have met him say he's a good man. And so I watch him for that kind of cutting across the crap information aspect of his videos. And that's helpful to me. And then I take a break if I don't want to hear the bad words anymore. And then, there are other people, Craig and Maria Emmerich. Sorry. Uh, Now they, I don't know, they propose adjustments to this that I don't know. I'm still thinking about a little more of a fat reduction on are things that they recommend than Dr. Berry, Dr. Shafee. Dr. Annette Bosworth is interesting. I just started listening to her, and she has some good information. Um, she takes exogenous ketones and promotes them, and I'm not sure about that. I don't. I'm not on board with that right now, but anyway, I could be convinced. But anyway, I do feel very, very good. And I eat mostly meat, some eggs, that tiny bit of cheese, now that I've cut out cream and sliced bits of cheese out of my diet. Um, and, that's what I'm doing right now. But while I'm doing all of this, I'm still trying to cope with the lies that I tell myself and how crazy I go when I really want to taste a piece of cake or a muffin or something like that. A lot of times I'm fine, but a lot of times, like, my brain gets fixated on it and I don't really know what that is. And if it's just this remnant from childhood about seeking comfort and feeling good or reward, I don't like, why is that still there? I'm a grown up. There's a delivery at my door and my dog's talking about it. Thank you. Go lie down. Thank you. They're not going to go lie down. Anyway, so if anybody ever watches this, if you have like, what triggers your need to eat food? Like, why do you want to eat? um, Especially when you're compelled to eat something that is going to damage you metabolically, or even if maybe it isn't, at least in the short term, it's not going to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. That's what I'm confronting, is that it's not serving the purpose I'm trying to make it serve. That muffin is not going to deal with maybe my overreactive anger, sometimes my temper. It's not going to really bring the long-term comfort to a heartbreaking situation that I'm looking for. It's not an appropriate reward. Like weddings, maybe your birthday, there's times for feasting, a religious feast of some sort. Maybe those are times people can feast and be festive. I'm not saying that never is anything ever appropriate, but things got out of whack. I mean, a daily or weekly reward isn't what I'm supposed to be doing here. And so I'm trying to cope with that. Anyway, so that this has been my solution to not having time to edit. I just decided to go live, see if this resonates with anybody else. If so, please let me know in the comments. I have this itty bitty tiny YouTube channel, and I'm just going to use it to help me deal with these kinds of things and talk about it. Thanks, friends. Love you. Bye-bye.